Sure. Okay, everybody, we're live. Call the regular meeting order at 5:30. Roll call.
Keith Gordon. Eric Knapp.
Yes.
Tim Hand.
Yes, sir.
Fred Niendorf.
Yeah.
Max Gaudry.
Yep.
Michelle Kelly. Here. Jamie Wilson.
We'll stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, presentations to the board. We have David Hagstrom from Angelica, Curtis Decker from Belmont. Actually, it's gonna be Molly, I believe, right?
Yes.
All right. Respective for their town libraries. Go ahead, Dave. You're the first one on the list.
As always, I got a handout, pointed out, right?
Thanks, sir. Sure.
Yeah, make sure.
Okay.
Supposed to be second over there.
Sure. Short.
I am. Thanks, Dave.
Hand out some other ones to folks, anybody? Angelica Library info, budget information. You. Okay, anybody else? Last call. No, all right. Good. So you have on the budget, on the ballot is a resolution for funding for both the Angelica Library and the Belmont Library. So this is just a budget summary of our 2024 operating budget. We are asking, Angelica is asking this year for a $500 increase to the levy, which brings ours to 56,000, up from 55,500 last year. And here on the form, you see the budget allocations that we have. And then down below that are the 2023 contributions received by the Angelica Library. And you have it in front of you. I don't know if I need to read through it unless the audience is wanting to know. And then just our library hours and contact information, board members, and that's what I have. And I encourage, obviously, everybody to vote yes. Anything, any questions? Okay, you bet.
I'm here for Curtis Decker. I don't have this presentation. I have one copy of my budget. And I hope that's good for you guys.
It's fine, thank you.
About it.
And we start off with what our budget goals are every year. First and foremost, our goal is to optimize all the opportunities for our students if we can. To maintain our current staff. Every year we try to comply with the maximum allowable levy for the tax cap. Support professional development and also to provide a foundation for future budgets. Please. So other development strategies, we wanted to maintain our focus on our district goals and our state standards, as well as we always assess every year, what is our current staffing, our current programs, what are the things that are aligned to our mission and vision? How do we ensure that we're on the right track? Are our resources aligned directly with the goals of the organization? And then we assess all of our current professional development. Take a look at, are we ensuring the professional development that we're offering to our staff is again aligned with our mission, vision, goals, and our values. So we have four retirees, one retired, at the end of June, two retired in June, excuse me, and two are retiring in September. And then this coming school year, we have two students attending the New Visions Health Program that is included in this upcoming budget. So some of the things that we've included in the budget and to help balance the budget this year is that we took a very close look at our current special education classrooms capacity. And we recognize that there are a number of students, spaces that are in those classes. And so we've increased both the number of out-of-student districts who will be coming to participate in our existing classes. We'll be adding two additional classrooms, excuse me, to this school. As a result, that'll raise the total number of students who are out of district in our special ed program from 15 to 25. And what we have then is about $625,000 in additional revenue in this budget that's included in that. One of the many challenges that we all are facing is the increase in costs of everything, and one of the greatest challenges this year is our increase in healthcare. We have a 24.4% increase in the cost of health insurance this year. This is on top of the last 2 years where we had an 8% increase and a 9% increase. And so I wanted to share with the board today that I have drafted an RFP to share. I've had conversations with many of our associations, and so I'll be sharing that with consultants who have worked with other school districts locally and led them through this process. And so I had a conversation yesterday with Rogers and Mary Alfred Allman about who they've used. I talked with the former superintendent of Springville Griffin about who they've used, and so I'll be emailing those RFPs. So I hope to have a response by early June so that the board can review those responses and then we can make a determination about a timeline and move forward. Knowing that we have to make a decision if it's going to impact next year's budget by April 1st of 2025. And then emergency athletics program with Belfast continues to equally split all of our expenses between the districts. And then our goal was to maintain our current extracurricular clubs, athletics, and performing arts. So this year's tax levy is $3,093,180. And the proposed tax levy for next year goes up approximately $46,398 to $3,139,578. That is a 1.5% levy to levy increase. Done. And so what you see there, the three-part budget comparison, the proposed budget for this year is $20,193,002. A budget-to-budget increase of just shy of 7% at 6.94. And then you can see the breakdowns accordingly as you go forward. Please. And again, you can see that one of the great challenges that many of us faced in New York was that our state aid, which is approximately 63% of the revenue that we've received for our district, was frozen from last year to this year. So the $90,270 increase, that variance, in reality is expense-based aids, meaning we spent the money and those are the aids that are coming back. So we spent additional money through BOE services and other expense-based aids to raise that additional $90,000. So you'll see that as you go down, the transportation aid is a part of that general aid as well, that came up, $90,000. You see the increase in other revenues is what I referenced before with the special education classes, and then additional use of our reserves. We also increased our appropriated fund balance and the use of some of our reserves to help balance the budget this year. Please. And so you can see from the pie chart that 63% of our revenues come from state aid. We have real property taxes approximately 15%, 4% is our appropriated fund balance, and then 18% is our other levers that bring in and balance our budget. So our expenditures are as follows. You can see the increases along the lines around instruction and then employee benefits are the two largest increases budget to budget. And so our expenditures, our instruction is the largest component, it's 2/3 of our budget, which is 66%. Our general support is 15%, transportation is approximately 4%, and then the cost of our debt, which is in essence our buildings and the capital projects that we've done, is 15%. And so a budget summary, the budget from last year to this year is again approximately a 7% change, and the tax levy is a 1.5% increase. So there's a number of propositions. Proposition one is for us to be allowed to purchase a 72 passenger school bus, utilizing our transportation reserve, which saves the district money in financing and generates revenue for us on an annual basis from purchasing that bus. The amount is not to exceed $168,000. To support the Angelica and Belmont Free Libraries and increase their levies. And then we have 2 open seats for the Board of Education. Eric Knapp and Fred Gersendorf are up for election. Fred has chosen not to run for re-election, and we have petitions that are submitted by Sean Gersendorf and James Cartwright. Eric is running for re-election, so we have 3 candidates for 2 seats. And the vote details, 2 weeks from today, May 21st, voting is from noon to 8. Belmont residents will vote here in the GBCS pool vestibule. Angelica residents will vote at the Grange. And then we have a board meeting following in the main office conference room at 8:30 to accept the results of the vote. With that, any questions?
You're asking questions in regard to the budget hearing or in regard to the presentation?
Yes.
Is the budget hearing open at this point or what?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'd like to make mention that, I was disturbed, last week when I called to find out, that the budget hearing was going on tonight and asked for a copy of the budget, and I was told the budget was not available until legally today. And based upon the state law and the state education department, unless I'm reading the wrong section, that's not correct. It was supposed to be available 7 days before tonight. And so as a result of that, I have a little concern about that. I'm very much in favor of transparent government. I'm not saying you're trying to hide anything, but I'm saying that I think it's an insult to the taxpayer that you don't get a budget until now, or I guess it came out on Saturday in the mail. If you got it, came both ways. So if you got it on Saturday. So I think there needs to be an adjustment for that in years going forward, because I think you're operating inappropriately in regard to what the law says.
I appreciate you bringing that to our attention, Casey, and we'll take a look at that.
Okay. Second item is that I've been in the building before, but trying to find where this hearing is, there's no signage. So in other words, which door do you try to get in? And also, once you're in, where do you go? So I think that ought to be taken care of too. I guess you meet here all the time in regard to Board of Education. But I do think that, that there ought to be more availability to the public if somebody does actually want to attend the meeting. What is the New Visions?
So New Visions Health Service is a college-based program that allows students to get internship experience in college level instruction in area hospitals and healthcare. So it's New Visions Medical Program.
So it's basically experiential learning on site
We're BOCES.
with
It's a
those.
BOCES program. And so we listed separately in our budget because it's a costly program. And so also our board members, they also like to know how many students that we have that we're sending. And typically our students participate in additional cost-based programming at the CTE Center in Belmont for their programming, as well as the New Visions Healthcare Program. There's a New Visions Education Program, and then there's a county legislature program that we've had students participate in the past. And so in this year's budget, it's including 2 students to participate in the New Visions Healthcare based upon student interests.
In regard to the health insurance, what percentage, is this 100/100 policy, or is it, what's the percentage that are?
So it's 85-15 for all of the stakeholders.
And under the public information section in regard to the budget, it says it provides for publication in district newsletter of all buildings as well as utilities. I'm not sure what utilities mean. What?
Well, I'm not sure what section you're regarding.
So public information provides, and the description is provides for publication of district newsletter of all buildings as well as utilities, which I'm not sure why utilities would be.
I'm not either. Let me take a look at that and I can get you the answer.
Okay.
Mailings, like the mailing costs and things like that.
Yeah.
That fall under
I'm not sure.
utilities?
I'll look at the JAG and see how it's broken down and I'll get you an answer.
Okay, yeah.
I'll call.
The utilities through me.
Yeah, it's throwing me right now, the answer, so I'll take a look at it.
And is the amount of state aid that's being allocated the exact amount that the state has provided based upon the last formula, the budget that they actually adopted?
It is.
Because that was up in the air.
That's one of the things that we were very intentional about as a district, is we waited to adopt our budget, so we had the most accurate information as possible.
So all of it's allocated.
All of
as
it's,
a revenue.
yeah, all is allocated in revenue.
Okay. All I have.
Thank you very much for your questions. I'm sure Dr. Schnell will get on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you a call tomorrow, basically.
Drop me an email, that's.
Either way, sure.
All right. The annual budget vote and election of Board of Education members will be held on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, at noon until 8. There will be 2 election districts. Angelica residents will vote at the Angelica Grange Hall. The Belmont residents will vote at the GECS pool vestibule. All ballots will be open starting at 8 p.m. Residents will vote on the 2024-25 school budget propositions for the purchase of 172 passenger school bus, use of transportation reserve funds, increased support for the Angelica Belmont Town Library, and a vote on 2 Board of Education member petitions members. Petitions have been filed by Eric Knapp, Sean Drusendorf, and James Cartwright. I have one question on that.
Yeah.
As far as write-ins, or, ballot, absentee ballots, can they pick them up here? How does that work?
Yes, they have to ask for an application, fill out an application to get that.
What was the deadline?
Is there a deadline? I mean, I guess that was.
I didn't.
It's past that. I think, I could be wrong, I thought it was, yeah. Because I know Pam's already mailed out absentee ballots to those who put them. We've already
Those are the
checked our
ones that are from the board that are automatic every
Oh,
year,
okay.
if they're different. So let me look up the date.
If there's someone specific that has a question, actually.
Well, yeah, I didn't realize that. I got special board meeting in Syracuse for the MUA, so I didn't, I will be out of town. Eric will have to cover that board meeting, so. I think. July. All right, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion,
I'll second.
Michelle, the second. Any questions, concerns, comments on the last meeting minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, administrator reports. We got them all in our packet. There's printed copies for the public. No, there's not. There's not.
If you want one, I'll get you one.
Not a problem.
I have it here, but the ones.
Sarah, or? You got everything? Okay.
Addition. Dusting, all doing a great job with dusting. We finished up other than a couple of makeups that we have. And some new students who have just joined us. We're pretty much done with the 3-8 ELA, 3-8 math, and finished up the science today. I think there's 2 8th graders still to take the science test as well. So it's about done.
Financial reports. I need a motion to approve the warrant reports. Next with the motion.
I'll say.
The second. Any questions, concerns, comments on the warrant reports? Go ahead.
I got a question on the federal one. What's Peaceful Schools out of Syracuse?
They are the provider for our mental health technician. So that's Al. He's an employee of Peaceful Schools, and we contract with Peaceful Schools for his service here. That's paid through the Bureau of Justice.
Alright.
Any other questions? No? All in favor?
Aye.
The treasurer reports weren't ready for this meeting. Because of the statement dates.
So now, I need a motion to approve the seeker resolution for the 2024-25 capital outlay project. I will not be reading through all that.
I'll move it.
And move the motion.
Second.
Eric with the second. Any questions, comments, concerns? I think you guys all got this. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. I need, sorry, a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll be along this, but.
So.
Got Eric with the motion.
I'll second.
Yeah, Michelle with the second. Any questions, comments, or concerns on that? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. All right, I need a motion to approve the memorandum of commitment with the Allegheny Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Support. Give them the motion.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Michelle, is that-
We have enough.
Any questions, concerns, comments on that? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. All right, I need a motion to amend a motion on the rate of pay for the CSE contract for CA.
This is for, yeah, for Brian, this position falls into the CSEA, even though he's a GVA contractor, so that's what we're amending, is to make sure that the rate of pay is accurate for that contract, not the GVA.
I get a motion on that? Max with a motion.
For a second.
Anyone will say? Any question, comments, or concerns on that? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Informational and discussion. We'll leave that up to Dr.
So I have two things to talk to you about tonight. First, obviously, the dates that are on there, May 21st is our budget vote, as well as, again, our meeting at 8:30 that evening to accept the vote results. June 11th is our next regular Board of Education meeting, and then July 9th is our reorganization meeting. Pam and I intend to pass out to you the draft version of the 24-25 Board of Education meeting dates on the 21st, so you just have to look at them to see if there's any conflicts. And then our hope is to adopt those dates at the June meeting. Also, at the June meeting, it's our intention to bring the Smart Schools Bond information forward. For those of you not aware, we met today with our safety committee to review, start the process for adopting a Smart Schools Bond Act that would upgrade the camera systems and the network here at Chendel. So that happened at 4:30 today. A few things. All of the equipment for the pre-K playground is installed. And so we're excited to get it open. We're in a waiting game for the rubber foundation. And so they're trying to coordinate, because Bolivar apparently has a project going on as well, and it's the same provider. So as soon as we're able to coordinate that.
They don't want red or black though.
It's gonna be red, that was the goal, so make it really bright. No, I think, I assume it's the same exact, and if it's not, you know who's in charge of colors, so you can have that conversation. When you see that, but my assumption is it matches, if I recall, the other flooring.
So that piece came in then?
Yeah, they manufactured that piece and got it to us installed, yeah. So the challenge is that we're waiting, the lead time on the fencing is what's taking, but it doesn't mean, once we get the rubber matting and we can open the playground, the fencing will be in before September, it'll be sometime over the summer that it gets fenced in. I kind of updated you on daycare. I shared with you that I was meeting with representatives from the YMCA. So I want to share with you my recollection of our conversations and gain direction from you as a Board of Education about how to move forward. So when I originally brought forward the daycare idea to you, what I heard clear was that we don't want a Genesee Valley daycare, but we were open to the idea of an outside provider coming in and providing that service, provided we had space, provided there wasn't a significant cost to the district. And so we looked at two different classroom spaces on Friday with a fire code investigator from, enforcer, I should say, from Buffalo, who came down. And one of the concerns is that daycare classrooms have different regulations than what our classroom spaces do. And one of those regulations is an exterior door. And so we were hoping that one of the classrooms, the one that Rachel Drake is in the very end of the building on the right side, already has two doorways. And the second doorway is right next to the doors that go out the vestibule outside. However, that's per the state code, it's not acceptable. And so we got an estimate from Mike Cyclemany today that would be about $35,000 to put in an exterior door. Then the only other work that was identified in the space is they need basically a two basin sink with two separate faucets in the room. And so we estimated about $35,500 for the work to be done. And so in the conversations I've had with the representative from the YMCA, she shared the contract that they use with Whitesville. And so the way it works is that Whitesville, the YMCA pays Whitesville $500 a month for the room rental. And then they pay Whitesville, they agreed to split the cost of the renovation of the classroom because Whitesville had to add an exterior door as well. So they said that they would split the cost 50-50, paid monthly at $500 a month. So Whitesville receives $1,000 a month from the YMCA towards rental of the room and the cost of the installation of the door. So and Brian, I'm gonna rely on you because I'm trying to put you in the spot. We looked at there's two different age groups from 6 weeks to 18 months, and then 18 months to 2 years of age. And if I remember correctly, they said we could have 22 students, was that accurate? Up to 22 students total, depending on the number of 6 week to 18 months, and then the remaining balance of the room. Because what they would do is they can literally put up portable dividers in the classroom and count that as 2 classroom spaces. And again, my understanding also is that enrollment is, again, tuition-based. They need 5, the number I heard, they need 5 students to open the classroom. And that it is income-based as well. So that the tuition-based cost is based upon the income of those who are accounted for. And so we're at a point now where I'm looking for direction from you as a board, as to say, we understand that there is an investment that we have to make in the classroom. When we surveyed around the daycare, that was something that came forward, that community members came forward and said, this is something that we need in the community. But where are we as a board? What direction do you have as a board for me as to, do we move forward with this? Or should we stop this at this point and say, we're not interested in the cost, it's cost prohibitive and moving forward?
Well, one of the things that I think I remember being part of the discussion was staff being able to access the daycare we've got how many teachers and staff that are going out currently for maternity leave. In the enticement of having a daycare would be the drawing of younger teachers and things like that. I haven't heard, if it's resident income based, I don't see any of our teachers being able to benefit from it if.
When I say income-based, the tuition is income-based. It's not
Oh, okay.
your eligibility to enter the program. I misspoke.
No, thank you, that clears it up because I want to be able to support, it's understand where
It's open to the entire.
Yeah,
From my lens, it's open to the entire community. And again, as a paid for participation program.
Right.
I assume, this is an assumption, that they'll take the first X amount of students that come forward.
Right.
That can come in the room, so.
Well, and that's what I was wondering, Brian, so when you say the entire community, you mean people within the county
Or
that
the
would want to
district.
utilize it?
That's a great
Within
question.
the district, within employees, what say would we have as to what kids or families could benefit from that?
So in the contract, it's with Whitesville School District and the YMCA. I don't recall that it specifies the
the district residents have preference first. If that's a prerequisite, I'm confident we can add that to the contract. Given, and usually what there is there's a duration period, so you have when openings happen, there's X amount of time that passes for that's communicated for in-district residents to take advantage of that, and then after a certain date or time elapses, then out-of-district residents do that. Or the board can say, this is just for Genesee Valley residents, we don't want this to be open beyond the board. I mean, that's your parameter as a board to set what you suggest.
Go ahead.
No,
I can, so,
here's where I'm at with it. I'm not for it at all. I just think there's other things, we don't need to spend more money on a daycare. We already run a daycare after school and during summer. And that's all free. So, this in particular, I mean, if it was something that the rest of the board, wishes to pursue, then that's fine. But I do believe that the staff here should get their steps on using the. And then after that, I think it should go to the highest,
district,
literally the highest bidder, because we have to maximize the money coming off.
So, and remember, we don't own the staff. This is all run through the YMCA.
yeah.
And so.
Well, there's still gonna be ancillary costs. There always is. I mean, nothing's free, and that's just, we already have to put $18,000 and just put a door in. So, we have enough challenges, I think, trying to add more special ed classrooms this year. Wherever they're gonna end up.
Well, so I think that we posed that question, and Brian, you said that there is enough classrooms at this point in time for all of them. That's
Right.
correct.
But where do the two new ones go?
We haven't decided where they're gonna be. But there are questions.
So we have empty classrooms right now?
Right now, no, there will be space in there. Well, yes, we have spaces that we can condense and consolidate and make it work. Absolutely.
So I'm just.
After the short-term costs this year, is it my understanding that we'll be making money on it, like a little bit every year?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
What does Weissel bring in? Do you have any idea what they bring in for?
$500 a month. Or is that what you're asking, the money or?
Yeah, like what's
The
the,
contract is $500 a month.
no, but I mean, with the.
The balance
tuition,
sheet, yeah,
what's
the balance sheet versus.
There's no tool, again, we're not involved in any of this. This is completely run by the
Oh,
YMCA.
so
We're
they
not.
only,
We have no employees in the state with YMCA. The
Oh,
YMCA leases
I got
our space to run a daycare
so
program.
we only get, we get $500.
We get
a month.
$500 a month max
So it would take us almost 3 years to pay out.
to pay out.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, with them, again, it's not us owning the full amount because they're paying, right?
I guess I'm at the point where I get where Eric's coming from, that being the budget where we're at right now, I get it. But I also think there's a value to it when you're talking about providing daycare for employees and district residents that may need daycare and can't, make it work wherever. But I want it to be very clear with the why, because I know we've seen it in other avenues, other schools that have housed it, whether it be swimming programs or other programs, they tend to come in and they take over and you don't have a say. So having a contract in front of us that dictates, that's what I would be willing to, I guess, look at and go with. I can't say that I'm in favor of it without seeing the particulars of that contract.
And so I have the draft contract that Whitesville and Mary used.
Yeah.
And the next step for me would be to update that contract and share that with the board. I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do that.
Right,
It wasn't-
right, I get it.
The board.
I mean,
And one of
just
the
think-
things, to your point, that I
Yeah.
heard, we share an office with 2 pregnant people.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of where I'm
and
at,
one,
yeah.
and actually, one of the kids is struggling with, not yet,
I'm gonna say one time.
one's still pregnant, yes.
One that needs to-
2 previously pregnant people, or many pregnant people, I should stop talking.
Yeah. But district-wide, we have
District-wide, we have had, it has been something that has come forward multiple times about being a way, to your point, of
Yeah.
enticing staff and a need in the community, because there's not community-based daycare
Yeah.
that's available.
I mean,
to families.
Patrice busting at the seams, and she's the only one that I know of, if she didn't still do.
I have been on that waiting list since March of 2000 and it's 20.
Yeah. going outside the district, I don't see that being feasible at all. I think we need to keep it to our district residents. That's why we're providing that.
Well, I guess that's kind of what stating that he would like that contract and what
Yes.
our feelings are, and what
Right.
the board wants to see. I'm not objecting to it, but I would like the same thing that Tim said, to look at it, go through the contract and see what changes there are, and see if there's anybody out there watching this tonight that might, comment on it.
While we figure out our short-term struggles, would they be willing to do something like, if they sign a 3-year contract, pay it up front to offset the costs of the door?
Now, the part of the agreement is that if for some reason the daycare does not go forward where they don't get the tuition, or they don't correct it, then they want to make sure they can get that. As you can understand, as an organization coming in, they're not gonna pay up front. That's why it's a monthly installment plan, so that it'd be over, to your point, over 3 years, basically, that they're, a little over 3 years to pay that off.
And that was the best quote they could find for the door.
That's an estimate.
There's not
It's an estimate. We haven't gotten the quotes yet. And again, the point is, we were hoping, we're gonna have to do this, to be perfectly honest with you. We were hoping Chris and his guys could go in and install.
I'm naive. I know there are doors within this building that do have its direct access outdoors. A couple of them being on the back hallway. Is that then, it's just not
There's
feasible?
water in the classroom requirements is bathroom. There's not just the
Yeah.
door as the requirement.
Right, right.
And then the square footage is one of the things that there again, everything is spelled out.
Yeah.
Very well. We also try to look at what was the most convenient for parent drop off.
Yeah.
And pickup and the least disruptive to our.
Well, and that's kind of where my mind went out back because it is so accessible to
Yeah.
the drop off in the parking lot.
Hold on, what hours do they propose for the program?
My understanding is it's 6 to 6 with in place.
Are they guaranteeing you can get staff to work this?
There's no guarantees in anything. But they brought a person with them who they introduced as if we open the program, she would be the program coordinator at Jet Val. But to your point,
I mean, everybody's struggling to find employees.
Yeah.
Or to do anything.
I don't disagree.
Let alone-
Joe.
Let alone take care of 22 kids under the age of 3.
Are you able to share the name of the person that would be the program coordinator?
I would if I recalled it off the top of my head, and I'm failing to do so right now. Brian, I think her first name was Angie, if I recall correctly. Don't quote me. Again, we were 4 of us that we introduced ourselves to when we were going through walking, trying to talk about students.
Right, that sounds like the idea is that if they weren't able to staff it, it would be like any other daycare and it would be closed.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the responsibility of.
Of our
Correct.
district, correct.
Right, because, yeah,
I mean, to your point, when you look at, risk versus reward, the risk is we invest $35,000. We put a door in the classroom and kids don't come.
So-
Given the conversations that we have had, I'd be really surprised if that, to be perfectly honest with you, that people didn't take advantage of it.
so there was a survey that went out maybe this time last year, is that correct? And did we have staff? Because I think it obviously sounds like that if we are in favor of going forward with it, we would want it to be an incentive for staff.
Mhm.
Do we have a sense of how many staff members would utilize it?
We did as a year ago.
Okay,
We had an idea of, but again, it's a click on a survey.
sure.
And so, but yeah, that's honestly why we continued the conversation throughout the last year, was because when we did the survey, and I brought it to you at the retreat, we had the conversation about what direction we wanted to go in, and what made the most sense. And so if that survey had come back and, staff members had said, come forward, to be honest, I wouldn't have brought it to you at the retreat, it would have died there, so.
Because you said the age group are, sorry, right, 6 months to,
6 weeks,
or 6 weeks to,
18 months,
and then,
basically 18 to 2.
okay,
And again, we take kids here.
Yeah.
At 2 3/4, or 2 2/3, I say. And really, they can start here September 1, basically, and they turn 3 by December 1.
The incentive for the staff is a great thing, but also the incentive for district taxpayers is also,
Yeah.
I mean, even if we only had 3 or 4 staff members, but we have a bunch of district
Yeah.
taxpayers that wanna
well,
take.
you've got 22 spots, we'll go pretty quick.
But I'm just saying, so I think we can fill it with, between staff and taxpayers.
What is the cost roughly? Any idea for parents?
I want to say it's over $300 a week. Full price.
I mean, that's more than The daycares are charging that.
per,
That is,
per
that is.
child.
Per child.
Don't quote me on the number, I just threw.
No, but
That's what came to memory, but again,
it's been 18 years since I had to worry about.
Now, do they have to pay,
they pay the YMCA.
but yeah, so even if their kid doesn't come for a week, if they're sick or whatever,
My
they have to
assumption
cost,
is they're
you're paying for, you're having to
That's
pay
my
for them. I
assumption.
mean, that's a lot.
And again, I think that, what I'll do is tomorrow, I'll email you all the sample, the Whitesville contract that I have.
That'd be
And go through it. I would ask you to tear it apart and
Yeah.
what questions, what things that you have, what are things that you want me to inquire on or the stipulations to put in. Well, but to your point, Eric, I wanna just broaden this conversation out a little bit to the extended school day program. One of the pieces of the extended school day program that we've done is we have offered it for free. And many districts don't, we have, you cited in your email, SIO that uses the YMCA and after school program. That is absolutely an option. One of the other, but again, the other options is, do we run our own program and do we charge, in my school, where my kids go, they were $20 a day. And it was basically $400 a month for just these, from 3 o'clock and the latest they could stay would be 5 o'clock.
Which is currently that same time frame.
Ballpark
Right?
here.
Yeah.
Ballpark here.
5:30.
We got 5:30 because the bus, the bus comes in 20 after.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, we obviously all went through the extremely painful budget process. I think we have to take advantage wherever we can to
I don't
bring
disagree.
in revenue.
And I guess the question I need from you, and this is not for this conversation, but before we get into the planning for the fall, is the direction the board wants us to go. How do we, and I guess, I think it's important for us to communicate this by the end of June, early July, so that families who are starting to make those plans next year have time to make an adjustment if they need to. So that's one of the things that I would certainly want to discuss with you in the June meeting is what are your preferences, how we move forward? And in the meantime, I can certainly get a quote from the YMCA about coming in here and running a program. To Tim's point, we looked at this when we originally brought on the story program. And it was a balancing act, yes, and there were many pros about us not having to manage money, not managing people, letting someone else come and provide that service. The cons were, particularly in the winter months, and this was pre-merged athletics, when our gym space, our pool were at a premium. In other districts were being blocked out of their own spaces because of, any other extended school day program. So that was a challenge for the districts talking about.
Well, I think just,
If you could, while you're sending that out to the board, if you could look at get a rough number of what our after-school program kids, participate in that. And then if we could put like a number value on that, just to see where we would be at if we were to charge a $20 fee or something.
Well, it'd be nice to break even.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
So that was my hope, to be very honest, we over that model, we still have, one of the nice things, and I'm selfish, one of the nice things about having our employees do it is we know people. And so, and frankly, some of our employees rely on that money, to help them, and many of them are our teacher aides, and teacher assistants who are doing it, so.
And I think we can do it a lot cheaper than the YMCA, but still be able to break even. I think it'd be better for the community.
Right, because correct me if I'm wrong, so when we all started off, this was a grant funded
It
program.
was.
And now we're absorbing that, so I mean, if it, it came out to, a small fee of that. It might hurt some families, I'm sorry to hear that, but on the other hand, we gotta look out for the benefit of the whole school.
And the other piece that we did also, to that point, is that we've applied for multiple grants to fund it, and we've.
We just keep
unsuccessful, and we just keep messing. And so the hope is we've got.
do they give you a reason why we're getting turned down? Is it because of our numbers? Is it?
It's different every time. But the challenge with the grant writing process is that there are different evaluators for everyone, and each evaluator, you have multiple evaluators evaluate our proposal, and there are different points they're taking off for different things. And so it's not like it's the same, like each time we have the proposal, because let's say a proposal gets rejected, we immediately evaluate, we get the evaluators' comments, we take a close look at where we get, and we address those gaps in advance of trying to submit
The next one, obviously,
Yeah, but that's the challenge, is it's the people we're evaluating are looking at different things. So I just bring it up because I think it's timely, is we all recognize the budget challenges that we're facing. I think the extended school day program, we're going to address some of the extended school day activities, and we're gonna be bringing those tighter. We're gonna bring those back in as to what we're able to offer or not able to offer. Some of those may go to paid participation, some may not exist anymore. I want to make sure that we can certainly maintain
the programs that draw the most kids. When I look at our drama program, when I look at our girls on the run, our boys on the run, you know, when I look at, you know, our trap and our ski programs were originally extended school day programs that now came into the clubs in the school. And when you look at the participation rates of those activities and the educational value that they present, I would be hesitant to lose those because they really emulate who we are as an organization.
It's involving kids that aren't necessarily involved in
Many
anything
times,
else.
many times, and I'm not just saying this because Donna's in the audience, but when you look at the
Yeah.
numbers the drama kids have, for example, and what they do, you know, that's one of the bigger reasons, and we, as a board, and we are really pro athletics.
Mhm.
It's not that we're anti other things, but when you look at the idea, none of us, I don't think we ever accept the concept that we're gonna start charging our athletes to participate in these activities. What's the struggle is that sixth or fifth to seventh grade, we just don't have. They're too young for sports.
Yeah.
And so unless they're involved in youth sports or Cub Scouts, those outside activities, which there are not a lot of, they're reliant on our school for many of those activities. So my hope is to be able to take a look at the whole program, be judicious about what we offer based upon enrollment, on understanding costs. Let me kind of go.
But I also think that as a whole, each group, like in the past, should, you know, concentrate on fundraising and help it out a bit.
Well,
I
and
mean, that's a
that's,
big thing, you don't have the fundraising that you used to have.
in talking to people just about the Little Mermaid play, people are like, we don't understand why you're not charging. You go to Wellsville, you go to some of the other districts for their plays, and they're charging, and it's a small amount of money, you know, $5 for an adult, $3 for a student. And I'm thinking, as many times as I was here during that weekend and other people were here, so you charge, what do you do for performances? You know, you charge $10 for a weekend pass and $5 per show. You're going to help out.
We took in almost $1,500 in donations.
In donations,
In
that's,
donations.
yeah, and that's my point
Right.
is, I was willing to stick a $20
Right.
bill in there. People are willing to pay to see the play. I think above and beyond, I think you'd still get that kind of a donation on top of.
We might.
What I heard you say loud and clear through this budget process is that we want to strike a better balance with what people are paying for
Yeah.
versus what we're just. I heard that. From you as a group. And so what I'm going to rely on you on is to help me decipher
Mm-hmm.
what are those things that we should be charging for? And what are those things that we should be allowing to go forward?
Yeah.
And so those are the competitions that I'm just kind of giving a preview. Yes.
I really like the fundraising idea. I mean, we already do some of them. The circus is great, but I think the more fundraisers we can do, the better.
Yeah.
Anything we can do to offset costs at this point, keep all the same programs, but make it feasible to keep it. It's that unfair, but.
Great. Any thoughts?
No.
That's all I have. Anything for me for the good of it? Anything for Dr. Schmidt?
Well, we'll probably let you, everybody sneak out because the board is gonna go into executive session for personnel. We appreciate everybody coming tonight.
I'll make the motion, to go into the executive session for the purposes of personnel discussion.
We have Tim with the motion.
Have a good night, everybody. Oh, I can't. Casey, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Next lecture.